Premier League predictions, I just make these so I can look back at the end of the year. I need to know. I mean, Arsenal are playing today. The league really sneaks up on you, so I've got to kind of rush this out. And I'm looking at the teams to go down. I'm looking at the relegation spaces, and I'm just kind of going, I can't make an argument for any of the teams who have came up to stay up. But then again, I said the same thing last year. I don't usually love to say that, and last year did bite me in the arse with Sunderland. But Sunderland made more signings, and when I say more signings, I just mean signings where you kind of know what you're getting, a little bit more proven in top 5 leagues. I would say the closest out of the 3 sides to have come up actually is Ipswich. I don't love the signings they've made, but like Enciso, Diop's not exactly exciting as a centre-back, never really in successful teams or playing all too much, but I kind of know what I'm getting. He's been around the Prem and stuff, so I guess, I don't know if I should like the fact that Ipswich have the least unknown quantities, or if that should just maybe less excited because I know the ceilings of all these players. But it's rough. I am going to predict a team to stay up out of the 3, mainly because of stats. The stat being that most years, at least one team does stay up. I know a couple years ago, every now and then, all 3 teams do go back down. And even though the gap is getting bigger, seemingly, a team always still finds a way. I feel like no one was really going to predict West Ham to go down last year. So the team I do pick is going to be more of a heart over head type decision. But last place, I'm just going to go Hull. I feel like everyone's going Hull, and I'm not impressed with a lot of their signings. They just seem like a championship team who's going to be playing in the Prem. No offense, Hull, prove me wrong. 19th, I will just go Ipswich. It comes down to the manager, I think, as well. They got a fucking PE teacher in there, and the signings are maybe the most assured signings out of the 3 teams who have came up, but there's not exactly a high ceiling with any of those players. And then 18th is rough because some people are saying Fulham. Not sure quite where I'm seeing that. They've got a decent team on paper. Maybe they're just lacking a goal threat, which I can see. There's not a definite bagsman in that team. Even the worst teams, though, in the Prem, if you look at their team on paper, it's still 10 times better than Coventry, who I'm trying to make an argument for staying up in 17th or maybe a little higher. The teams I'm currently thinking of would be Fulham. It would be Palace, maybe. I'm kind of leaning Palace if I had to. I feel like Palace went from a team who constantly finishes 11th, 12th. They may have done that last year, I don't know. But, gone are the days of having consistently exciting players like Balassi and Zaha and Eze and Elise. They've still just about got Mateta, and apparently they are keeping Walton. But I don't know, man. They've lost Glasner. They lost Gay as well, obviously in January, I think it was. Palace. Mateta still being there is kind of the only thing not making me put him in 18th. But I think I'm going to do it anyway just to make an argument for Coventry to stay up. I do like Palace enough, but they've just lost so many people. They've not really signed anyone that exciting. Mateta gets injured, that's a huge issue. And they've still got, who was that guy, Munoz, the fullback. But if these are the 2 players I'm looking towards, and with a new manager, it's unknown quantity, I can make the argument there. So I will go Palace over Fulham. I'll put Coventry in 17th. They've made some decent signings. Awoniyi. I always in my head pronounced it as Awoniyi, but there is a little sneaky extra I in there, so maybe it's Awoniyi. That was a real good signing for me, where I went, you can't be going into the new season with Sims and Haji Wright. You can't do that. You can't do that. And they have got an unknown quantity striker with what's his name? Sheriff Siddiqui? No, that ain't it. Something like that, though, from Fenerbahce, like a young striker. People call him, the mini Lukaku, whatever they call it. An unknown quantity, exciting talent, but then also Awoniyi. For me, that is that made me feel. By the way, the reason why that relaxes me is because basically Lampard's at the helm, so I'm rooting for them. That kind of settled me, because as long as he stays fit, he was very, key in Forest coming up and keeping him up. So he is someone I can rely on in terms of scoring goals. He's pacey, he's powerful, and if he stays fit, he is a much stronger option. He's just a Premier League striker, and I can't definitely say that about Sims or Wright, realistically. Also got the Ghanaian player in the middle. Had a good World Cup. Didn't watch much Ghana games, to be honest. So apart from when England played him, so I don't know too much about him. But a lot of people are excited about him. Obviously, they kept Rushworth. They kept Onyeka. Those both had good loan spells there. Probably the left back, De Silva, I don't think is quite cut out for the Prem. But maybe he steps up. But he was honestly, he found his footing in this season they came up, but he was struggling a bit, I think, in the Championship at times. So don't know if that's all right. Obviously, centre-backs, I think they could still bring, if they bring like an Achiampong from Chelsea on loan, that'd be huge. I don't think Tomori wants to go there. I don't think AC Milan want to get rid of Loftus-Cheek. You'd think Lampard would have at least a bit of luck somewhere. I know I was looking at Mudryk for a while, but like a little Chelsea connection type loan hasn't seemed to be the case at Coventry yet. But I do think a loan would be very useful in terms of bringing someone in just to try and remain in the league. A couple more Premier League proven players. But moving on from there, speed things up. We've now got like, Fulham, Forest, Bournemouth, Sunderland. A lot of people are saying could drop off this year. I'm going to go Fulham, I think mainly because I've had a lot of other people talking about Fulham not doing well, so I'm just going to agree with it. They've got a lot of nearly players, a lot of young players who never quite exploded. Your Smith Rose, your Iwobis, your Sessegnons. They've got more in that, I'm just not remembering off the top of my head, but like those kind of players. Oscar Bob might be one of those. And again, not a certified bagsman up top. They brought in that guy from Barca. I say that guy, I mean Barca's a big club for like 30 million. Don't know a lick about him. Mainly a big issue, actually, I just remember there was Arbeloa. I don't think I rate him. He might be a clown, so we'll find out. He's on Fraud Watch playing Chelsea first, so we'll see. Going up from there, I'm going to put maybe Forest, because Forest lost a big player. They got Glusner in, to be fair, but he's now in a place that's a bit unstable. You know what Forest is like. But they lost Anderson. We'll see how important he is to them. They've still got Gibbs White, though, who had a ridiculous amount of goal involvements last year. And I don't know. I mean, I don't want to undervalue them losing someone like Anderson, because it's easy to do that, because you just look at a player like that and you go boring, what do they really do? But then you only really notice sometimes when they're gone. You could argue maybe that was the case of West Ham and Rice. We'll see. I mean, he went for a similar price, actually a little bit more than Rice probably. Who have they got up front? Like, who is their striker? I know they got Igor Jesus, but that can't be their main striker, right? They've got Chris Wood. I mean, there must be someone else, right? I don't know. There's a lot of pressure on Gibbs White, realistically, and I can't really put them above the teams, any of these other teams. So I think I'm going to leave them there. 14th, I think I will stick with Bournemouth. Obviously, they lost Iriola. I'm not sure who they've got in now. Trying to think of their striker. I guess it's Evan Nilsson and someone else. It's not quite. I mean, to be fair, they have got Krupi, but he's injured at the moment. He was really good for them. Ryan, is that another player that on the wing? Is that how you pronounce his name? He was looking decent towards the end of the season. Bournemouth always find people. It'll just be interesting now because it's a new manager, so there might be a little bit of a drop off. And a lot of people are really rating Leeds, who I'm currently thinking about putting them in 13th. Might go 12th. Might put Sunderland in 13th instead. In fact, I'll put Sunderland in 12th. I'll put Sunderland in 13th. I'll put Leeds in 12th. Leeds have got Trafford. They finally got a solid keeper. I mean, they ditched the Meslier thing after a while. That was just too many mistakes happening from him. Not sure who they had in goal last year. They've also got Wilson, which if he can even get like a third of the form of last year, I think will be decent enough. They're probably like a half of the form, not a third of the form. But Leeds, a lot of people are excited about them. I think a lot of it comes down to, again, have you got a bagsman? I think Calvert-Lewin is a bagsman. What Calvert-Lewin are you going to get though? Because I think he's really underperformed / been injured for like the last few years. Although last season had a decent season, went on the purple patch. He's kind of a purple patch player though. And you kind of need those purple patches to last a bit longer this year if he's really going to push them into the top 10. Some people have him finishing like 8th or 9th and stuff. I do just think outside of Wilson and Trafford, there's not really many like needle moving signings. But they are coming into already a decent team with some players I do like. Like I like Aronson enough. I like Okafor. I thought he was a good signing. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, he's going to provide with goals. You just need, as long as Calvert-Lewin stays fit, I think he'll be a good like fox in the box striker type thing. So I will go Leeds in 12. And then Sunderland defaulted into 13th. Just a bit of a drop-off season. It's a bit like Sheffield United when they came up. Didn't they finish like 7th or 8th or something with Chris Wilder? And the next season they got relegated. So I'm not going that hard, but a bit of a drop off. I don't know. There is a reason why I think there's a bit of a drop off. I just can't remember why. Like have they lost anyone? I don't know. Have they signed anyone? That's the bigger question. Brighton. I guess Brighton are here for no other reason other than by default I'm putting these teams below them, and by default I'm putting the teams I want above them. So I guess this is where they end up. And Brighton always seem to be comfortable these years. I went through my phase of always putting them in the relegation zone. I've grown out of that. It never seems to happen. 10th, I'm going Everton. This is actually the team I'm going to back. A lot of people have been going Leeds, and for some reason I'm just feeling Everton. I think it's going to be another year where people start to back Moyes even more and go, wow, he's really done a job there. I quietly like their signings. Tyreek George I think is a better player than I really gave him credit for, and I think he needed to be in Everton to show that more. I really liked what I've seen from him in glimpses in pre-season, and last season he actually looked decent. Brennan Johnson I think is a better player to have for them than Dwight McNeil, to be honest, and I think he will do better in that environment than Palace. And Norgard, you know, nothing special for Arsenal. He's in his early 30s now, but I think he can be a good player for Everton on top of an Eriksen side that already, I think, was all right, decent-ish. The fact that they even finished wherever they finished, I can't remember, but last season, and they was getting the most out of people like Beto and Barry, you know, I think now adding these players on top of that is all right. And you got decent players in already, like Garner and stuff in the midfield. There's others, yeah, I can't remember. It's all off my head. Then I've got Newcastle in 9th. Obviously, we know what they've lost. Gordon, Bruno, Tonali. But that's a lot of money. And they've invested it with a lot of £30 million players. But, you know, at the end of the day, on paper, they've still got a strong team. And they're a bit of an unknown quantity. And I think they're a team who wants to prove a lot of people wrong. They're going to be a team with a chip on their shoulder. There's going to be a lot of derbies that aren't derbies for them this season. Like, coming up against Liverpool, trying to prove people wrong. Coming up against Spurs, you know, trying to prove players wrong here and there. There's going to be a lot of games to get up for. On top of the actual games, the actual derbies, the actual, like, 6-pointers and stuff. And I just can't see them massively falling off. They got a different manager completely. Maybe that's the right thing. Maybe he's going to take them beyond something that Eddie Howe could have done last season. It's just interesting. I've gone in the middle. I've gone 9th. In 8th, I've gone Spurs. They could be higher, I guess. They could easily be lower. Spurs are so difficult at the moment. Like I said, obviously they brought in Tonali. Fernandes, relegated Fernandes last year, and they spent, you know, what, 75, 85 mil on him. 100 on Tonali, Robertson on a free, I guess, Van Heck for like 30, 40, 50, whether he was 60 even, I don't even know. But equally, as much as they're all good players, I mean, Fernandes got relegated last year, Tonali's a good player, and obviously Fernandes got relegated with a partner who isn't Tonali. But like, Robertson, Van Heck is easily a guy who I could see struggling in a Spurs side, making mistakes because he's in just a less organised place. And I don't know if De Zerbi needs to be on forward watch. People thought really highly of him a few years ago. I just don't know about De Zerbi still. He did somewhat turn things around like I knew he would. After they brought him in, I thought Spurs will probably definitely stay up now. But I don't know if I definitely see him breaking into a top 7 of teams I have above. Aston Villa I got above, which I'm worried about because lost obviously Rodgers, lost Watkins, who didn't have the best season last year, but still, both of those, that is a lot of goal involvements lost. Have they signed another striker? Are we relying on the 17-year-old, who apparently is amazing, but are we relying on the 17-year-old unit and Tammy Abraham and stuff? They got rid of Malen. I mean, that was pretty good player to offload, but like, still got Leon Bailey and things like that. They brought in Manzambi, who a lot of people wanted. I think Newcastle, maybe Liverpool as well. Who else? They got Gomez from Wolves, Suzuki the keeper. Again, does Suzuki elevate them? He's a good goalkeeper, so was Martinez for them. Is that just going to be more of the same, good goalkeeping? It's not like they had a bad goalkeeper and now they've got a good one. They had a good one, now they've got another good one. It just depends how good's Manzambi going to be. I reckon they probably need to get a striker in. If they get rid of Watkins, they definitely do. It's a shame that John Duran never left because he really could have grown into being just that definite number 9 for them at this point. But he's kind of turned his career into a journeyman thing. I don't know. Emery's Emery though, so I'll put him 7th for now. And then United in 6th. I'd love to put him lower, to be honest. I just don't rate Michael Carrick. Again, is he another one on fraud watch? I think it's just, yeah, he did a good job. Everyone's really impressed with it. But he came in with a game a week. And it's just classic, not just United, but teams in general, but particularly United. New manager bounce. A nice guy comes and used to be here. And now we play for him. And because he's not asking the world of us. And we get to the end of the season. It's like, is this not the Ollie thing all over again? Ollie's out the world, but now with Carrick. I'm just looking at his career before United, and with Middlesbrough did an okay job. You know, took him close-ish, and then kind of just sort of mellowed out of his time there. I just don't know if Carrick's all that. I don't know if Carrick is the guy. And the signings they've made, some good signings. Tillemans I like, and Santos I liked at Chelsea. But again, he was sitting on our bench, you know. And I'm sure he'll be sitting on United's bench as well, to be fair. But they spent 50 million on a bench. And yeah, is Sessegnon going to be him? I mean, Mbeumo and Cunha are looking like they are going to be them. But I don't know if Carrick is the guy to get the most out of people. I think there's a couple more signings they need. 5th. Okay, this is bullshit. I got Brentford. I don't even know why. I don't know a single player they've signed. I don't know fuck all why I have Brentford. I think I just was set on putting United in 6th. I couldn't make an argument for Villa going 5th just yet, so I've put Brentford. I don't even remember where Brentford finished last year. I guess this is my like rogue pick. And I don't actually know why, because I'm trying to think of Thiago you're expecting. I kind of feel like he was punching above his level a bit last year. A lot of penalties as well, so I don't know if he's going to score as many goals. Probably definitely won't. But it could be a big season for Kevin Schade. And He's the epitome of a purple patch player. He loves going on a little purple patch, like 7 miniature purple patches throughout the season. So maybe this could be the year he knuckles down. But Brentford, they're always solid. And these last few years, when I say few years, last 8 years, you always have like a surprise team bumping their way into getting some kind of European football. I mean, in this case, 5th could even be Champions League. So I'll go Brentford. And it's mainly because I think Aston Villa and United would be underperforming, on top of Brentford maybe slightly overperforming, and also because it's a bit of a bullshit pick. I actually don't really know why they're here. 4th, I've got Liverpool. Again, it's kind of by default. I don't think they're in 4th because they're having a good season. I just don't really know what to think about them. They brought in that centre-back for like 60 mil. He's meant to be decent. But up front, I just don't know. Is it exciting though? Because at least it'll mean like Ungamoa gets a lot of games. He used to be at Chelsea, breaks my heart every time I see him. Got rid of Salah, probably right. Ekitike is injured at the moment. Isak needs to step up. Wirtz needs to step up. And if they step up, then they step up and it's good. They've just got a lot of starlet players that if they step up, then it could be higher than 4th. But a lot of unknown quantities that they could be lower than 4th. 3rd, I've got City. And a lot of people have got a lot of shit words to say about City. In many ways, they could win the league. They could still win the league. I don't love Enzo Maresca, but like, people look into preseason a lot. People look into the Community Shield and stuff. But he is from the school of Pep, and that team is decent on paper, and they are going to add more before the end of the season. They're probably going to add another 3 players. They have lost Silva, Stones, Reinders, Rodri, people who are aging out of it, but still lifeblood of a team. So far, only real big name they brought in is Anderson, but that's because it's City. How many big Arsenal have only really brought in terms of a big name? Bruno, because these are big teams, you know. But they probably need to bring in another midfielder. But I really like Semenyo. I feel like Foden could really have a good season. They've got Haaland, that's always a factor. Donnarumma's arguably best goalkeeper in the league right now, I think, in terms of just shot stopping. I can make an argument for them being first, but I actually can't because Arsenal will probably be first. Although I have put Arsenal in second because I'm a Chelsea fan. And who would I be if I didn't predict us to win the league? Why not have some fun with it? We brought in Rodgers. I think Palestra looks like an absolute bowler. Lacroix, so a bit of experience in the back. It's better than tossing. Reece James only having to play once a week, no Champions League. I think that is a good point for us. Rodgers, Pedro, Palmer is terrifying. And Caicedo in the middle, probably Enzo. I don't think he's going anywhere. It's a very good team on paper. I don't think it probably will be quite enough to win. Arsenal probably win the league this year, and I think there'll be a different winner next year after that. But why not believe it? I do think there is an argument to be made for City or Chelsea, and I'm a Chelsea fan, so I'm gonna back Chelsea. I think it's passable. Maybe Arsenal are a little too comfortable. Maybe they don't think there's a threat this year. Maybe they only get stronger now that they got the monkey off their shoulder, monkey off their back, and they won. I don't know. It's a prediction. No one knows. That's what it's a prediction. I can't be wrong yet until it's wrong. Yeah.